How's it, everybody? I'm here with John at the hub.
Aloha.
I'll just give you guys a little live preview. We got a Dyke jamming back here. We're talking story, been talking story today about the future of Pahoa. We got a community meeting tonight coming up at the Pahoa High School cafeteria. Give you guys a report after that comes in. We've heard reports, might be some big announcement. We'll wait and see what actually comes out.
Wow.
We'll report to you guys after the meeting tonight. Meanwhile, we're here talking story with a lot of the guys around Pahoa, Pahoa Main Street, talking about the plans to move some of the museum exhibits down here to Pahoa and how that might actually work out. Implications for Volcano, for all the communities involved, tourism in general, all kinds of things we've been dealing with today apart from the actual volcano. Trying to help our community in other ways, that seems to be really needed right now.
Yeah, it's amazing times. A lot in the works, a lot of change happening, and so it's been interesting to hear everyone's ideas on what direction we can go to help repair Pahoa and the surrounding communities after the eruption. So, big topic right now. Lots of stories developing. So it's been pretty interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So what do we know for sure right now? We know that the national park has been in discussions with several business owners down here in Pahoa Village, and they have agreed to move some of the exhibits from the Jagger Museum. We have heard that the exhibits they plan to move are only the ones that were going to be replaced anyways with a museum upgrade.
Oh.
So that the park does not actually expect any of this stuff back ever.
Whoa.
I know there's been a lot of concern about real artifacts coming down to an area that's much more humid, and I don't think that's as big a concern maybe as we're making out to be. The really valuable stuff they're not going to let come down here.
Yeah.
They're kind of letting the old displays that may be useful for education come down, basically.
Yeah.
In particular, we heard a little bit about the artwork, the Volcano artwork. Say a little bit about.
Oh yeah, there's for anyone who hasn't been up there, there's these big, beautiful wall murals, which are the Volcano paintings of Pele and the whole Pele's pantheon or family, and really beautiful. Those are kind of iconic to the crater and to the national park up there, so it'd be great if those can find a new home to be on display. And a lot of other educational displays that Phil and I are excited about, like wow, those would be great to have around, rocks and displays of the island and different attributes of the geology and the study, and also a lot of it is educational, like Philip said. So we're not really talking about any of the historical artifacts that the national park protects or keeps in its archive. So if that's been confusing, these are mostly the educational displays from the museum that we're talking about. And one of the really beloved pieces there are the Pele paintings.
Yeah,
so.
and they're just prints.
They're just prints. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So those Pele murals are prints that were made for the museum. They're not the original artworks. And so they're trying to figure out what's the best way to remove those and relocate them. But we're not dealing with an original artwork, so it's less of a concern for the careful preservation of these prints because they are reproductions of the original. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So just kind of restate that. We've heard is that they're not going to give anything that they weren't planning on getting rid of already, anyways. And maybe they were getting rid of it sooner now because there's nowhere to put it. It still has life in it. It's not like the stuff's like too old to use. It's just like they got to move it somewhere where they're gonna put it, and they don't have a place for it, and they might as well go somewhere like down here.
They're great prints. In fact, the Friends of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, the nonprofit I work with, actually helped. What's the right terminology? I want to be accurate. They commissioned the making the new prints for the museum because they needed to be replaced, and so that was all done really recently, and then we had this eruption. So they've always been hoping to upgrade the museum, and we were able to do that with the Volcano paintings, and now the museum is not going to be used And so hopefully we can relocate those. And so it's sounding like they're coming to Pahoa, which would be really neat. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say right now about that, but we'll keep you guys, tuned in to any developments we hear about as far as that goes. But one thing that's interesting is how the format's working out here. The park is not building their own facility in Pahoa. In case anyone's wondering, we haven't heard anything about that. It takes too long for them to actually build a federal building, acquire the land, all that stuff. So the kind of new way they're operating with this, they're kind of exploring this relationship, collaboration with private business owners in local communities, and putting these kind of displays. Possibly some of the rangers can come and have these operation centers here, like they have been doing at the airport and other places as well, and can have a presence here without actually having to invest a whole lot of infrastructure and a lot of expense, and it makes it a lot faster as well, because people in Pahoa are really kind of struggling with business as well, and the reason I say all this is because that's also true in Volcano. We've heard, I myself am more of a Volcano community person than Pahoa. I consider myself both. This could happen in Volcano as well. There's no reason why in Volcano Village you couldn't have private business owner with space, bring in some kind of displays in there, and have a place where rangers can station as well. Right now the rangers are stationed at the Volcano Art Center, which is a great location. But something could definitely expand and have more exhibits and that kind of thing as well. So I'm hoping to maybe hear from some people in Volcano, or reach out to some people in Volcano who might have that kind of space, and maybe there's no reason why there can't be one of these in Volcano as well. I think there's plenty to go around.
Yeah, there definitely is, and I just think it's great that the national park and National Park Service is being so proactive in coordinating with the surrounding communities, trying to do something that would be mutually beneficial. And so it's great to see this is in motion already. It's really cool. We're moving really quickly to try and create those partnerships so we can have park presence in the communities, Volcano and down here in Lower Puna, that were affected by these eruptions. The park is very eager to have a presence in those communities to help encourage the vegetation, maintain the park's presence in interpreting the volcano. So it's a very cool thing to watch it moving so quickly.
Yeah, kudos to the park for working so fast. We're frustrated with how things have been playing out the last few months, but you couldn't ask for anything more from the park right now.
Yep, moving as quick as they can.
Basically, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, so that's our kind of local community update. We'll report back after the meeting after we find out what's going on there. It's been, I don't know how many weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks since the last community meeting. It's been a long time, yeah.
We've been missing the meetings.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had a string of hurricanes and weather, and then postponements or cancellations by the county. So after one thing or another, it seems like almost a month since we had a meeting. So we're looking forward to getting some new information.
And we have questions we need answered.
Getting questions answered, that kind of thing as well. So, and then one final kind of social note, there is Uncle Robert's happening tonight as well.
All right. Wednesday.
Despite any rumors, Uncle Robert's is live and jamming tonight. Everything's still open, all good to go. We will try to do a live meeting. If no one else is doing one, we'll do one as well. We'll see about the connection in there. Sometimes the connection isn't great, so usually one person can try to stream live and one person can record it to post later, so you guys can actually see it in better quality afterwards. So we'll see. We'll figure something out. Hopefully, can do both of those things. So keep an eye out, figure out where that thing is actually shooting live. But that being the kind of social update, we'll maybe turn to the volcano. What's going on at the volcano today?
Yep.
You gonna give us an intro, John?
Volcano. Well, I can start with what I saw. Hopefully, people saw the posts that I did and Harry Durgan, and were shared on Hawaii Tracker as well. That. We've been watching the development and fading away of red glow from Fissure 8. We discovered it kind of by accident with the camera on Friday. It got much brighter by Sunday and Monday again. And then yesterday it was down back to so dim that we couldn't see it with the naked eye. Only our cameras could pick it out. But it was still there. And so we've got a pretty well documented, consistent story of some lava began to spatter and well up in the bottom of the crater, filled in most of the lower pit within the crater, even started to dribble towards the spillway, but didn't make it very far. And there was at least still some circulation or spattering happening yesterday. Built a small little cone that's called a hornito, where the lava was spattering. Looks like a little model of a volcano is sitting in the middle of the fissure now. And it seems, as far as the glow and everything last night and the reports of USGS today, that activity has probably ceased, and any lava that's sitting in the pool is cooling. So I mentioned in our preview, we'll be going back there after the town meeting to see if we can see any glow. And so that's kind of the update of what we've been watching down here at Fissure 8 Cone. So that is a fact. There was lava filled up in the bottom, was spattering for probably over several days this developed, and by last night there was only kind of the passive red glow of probably some lava cooling in the vent. So we're watching it very closely.
Yeah, so it started up, kind of went for a few days, maybe it peaked, and maybe now it's waning, and we might actually see a couple more little outbursts of the thing.
We could, but how many more? That's one of the questions.
And I personally, I can speak for myself, don't expect to see a whole lot more of them.
Right. I wouldn't expect either, yeah.
Although, what I was saying before is that, we have seen a situation at Kīlauea where it kind of has its own system itself, right? There has to be a dike that fed the Kīlauea lava lake from that upper chamber. And from that dike up is where the gas was forming, bubbling up, and kind of causing convection, and that thing kind of convect and overturn just from the dike that feeds it. And there's a pretty big dike underneath Fissure 8, kind of goes all the way under Lani Puna for sure, right? It goes all the way under, West Leilani for sure. You can argue whether it goes to 130 or not, but in any case, it's big, it's deep, it's skinny, but it's tall, and wide, or not, tall and long.
About 5 meters wide, they estimate. So that's like 15 feet deep and a kilometer tall. So that's
half a mile,
and then maybe a couple miles long.
Or a mile, or maybe a mile. Let's be conservative and say a mile or something.
About a mile, and so it's hard to calculate, but even though it's kind of a skinny feature, this vertical dike we keep trying to describe for you guys, the blade, there's a lot of lava within it. And so we fully can anticipate that there'd be some convection as it cools, and lava might come to the surface.
Gases escaping.
As gases are escaping and helping it cool. We could see this repeatedly. And so now everything we learn from now on is going to start giving us the answers that we've been interested since it began to pause, which is some time ago already, a month now already. Now that we've seen it come from a real low level up to extruding some more lava and glowing for a few days, if we see it do that again, we should start be able to detect if it's actually fading away or things like this, but it won't surprise us if we do see lava coming up there again, and we're not going to immediately assume it's reactivating, because it could still be consistent with that very large volume of lava that's in the dike still cooling. But from now on, as we watch from here, we have a kind of frame of reference, and it'll start helping us get the answers we want when we see whatever happens next. So.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm looking for particular is fresh gas. Not, I know everyone's smelling gas, and it might smell like there's more gas than before, but we're smelling, more of the stinky gas, H2S, as opposed to the sulfur dioxide, which we're also smelling. It's been actually puffing out of pool. We had another pool puffing event, I don't know how many days ago, 4 or 5 days ago now? Something like that,
saw it,
In fact, my neighbor even described seeing some pink dust rising from there, so there might have even been some slight collapses in there. That kind of thing, so...
gases will be a major clue. It is cycling gases when it brings the lava to the surface, and the gas pistoning, we described that. But what we're talking about is if we see a renewal, an overall increase in gases, that would tell us something else. So an increase in the fresh gas, as Phil is calling it, that'll be a really important clue if it emerges. And so that gas is something that we'll definitely be looking for from here on out.
Yeah, and to give you guys a ballpark, we were having 25,000 tons a day of SO2.
Crazy.
Coming out of Fissure 8 maybe, and now it's at 200.
Yeah.
Now 200.
Like nothing.
for a volcano.
Yeah, nothing for a volcano.
For a volcano, because usually, last the EPA, like that's probably close, about
That's a lot.
200 tons might be the most effective thing to release over a course of a whole year.
Yeah.
So if that's by your house and you're smelling it, yeah, of course it smells terrible. Like that's like a whole factory releasing that much gas every day.
Yeah.
It's for people, it's still a huge amount.
Yeah.
But we're talking about volcano.
Yeah.
Volcano reference, we see thousands of tons a day out of that one spot. I believe there's actually fresh magma coming in. That's where fresh gas would come from.
And so USGS keeps mentioning in their report that the gas level is so low, it's in fact the lowest they've recorded since at least 2007. So for this volcano, we know the gas is very, very low. But compared to what humans do, yeah, of course you're going to notice it. It's 200 tons of gas coming out nearby.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. So it's significant on a human scale. In terms of the behavior of Kīlauea volcano, we know the gas is very low right now, notably low.
Right. Yeah. So this gas is definitely bothersome, but this is why we're all kind of really so concerned with the gas as a hazard before. 25,000 tons.
Unbelievable.
Is
it's crazy.
That's potentially getting to the lethal exposure kind of thing. That's why we're put that out as as one of the top hazards. And why we're saying that now is not nearly as hazardous, even if it is stinky in air and other places you guys are kind of cleaning up.
It's not good to breathe it. Obviously nobody enjoys it when they're in the gases, but it's not life-threatening at this kind of level with any kind of distance between you and it. So just trying to frame a context for on a human scale. It's still a lot of gas, but it shouldn't be seen as like a hanging threat in the air at this point, because it's much, much reduced from what we were having before.
Yeah. So yeah, John mentioned basically what was seen within Fissure 8, and showed you guys this in the little preview. But I'll turn the camera around again, guys, and we're at the hub, so we're gonna deal with glare today. So you get to see me in double here, but I'm gonna show you guys this drone footage USGS released today of yesterday afternoon, showing their views within Fissure 8. Let's see if I can avoid the glare here as much as possible. So there we have it within Fissure 8, and I can put on my pointer again, but there's our new little hornito. The spatter in this area is kind of piled up and made this little bump. That's called a little oven hornito. You see this actual glow and some little bit of red flow in that area right there. But actually, it's mostly crusted over. You don't see a whole lot of red, kind of just within the cracks right there. So I can put it for you guys again, since it kind of flashes through. Oh, look, I can actually even pause it. So there is a view of the hornito, right? And gas coming out of it, right? So we can see clearly the gas venting right there. That's kind of what it's all been about. View from straight up, you can see there's actually glow underneath right in there. Yeah, underneath that little crust is a little bit of glow, and over by the hornito as well. So there could still be lava kind of pooling under there, but there's clearly not as much lava coming out as any time recently, and it seems mostly to be a gas-driven event still. So that's the most recent views we have of Fissure 8. Upon within it, the inner crater has been filled by that lava flow. So that's how it looks now. Let's switch now to our tilt plots and look at this a little bit more closely. And here is our summit signal. And you guys can see this clear variation in the summit, going up and down and up and down. And it seems like this is happening largely once a day in the middle, right? So let's look at the zoomed out view. It's a little easier to see, right? So we can kind of see an overall pattern of decrease, and then maybe a little bit shallowing out here. But we still have this kind of everyday cycle, right? And maybe some days, maybe you have like a big shady period, middle of the day, so you don't get a single bump or something like that. But overall, we have a similar pattern right there. Yeah. And this was that kind of summit mini earthquake that looks kind of a little bit like a collapse, but it was kind of a tiny mini version of that, the summit. Grand scheme of things, here is still what we believe is a rain signal, flattening out. And that's where we're going on there, yeah? GPS is not showing a whole lot of movement. Oh, except right here at the end, we got something going on right here. Starting to wiggle down.
One of those things.
Yeah, it might be doing one of these wiggling gas venting things.
It looked like it might have started it back here too. I was watching it when that happens, but this is more pronounced.
Clearly it's all the way down, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if there's a little bit right there as well.
A little bit of it.
Yeah, but basically, we'll wait and watch that signal and see if this is another one of these little events. The last one was, what do we say, it was like the 15th and the 25th. So has it been 10 days since the 25th? Just about, huh?
Yeah, almost.
Just about.
So that would be right on schedule. This
pretty
is
much a
interesting sign.
Yeah, interesting sign there.
We don't know quite what to make of that one.
Yeah. So, but then let's look at our Pu'o'o tilt. Our Pu'o'o tilt, since our rainstorm is kind of once again resumed this deflation, a little bit more rain coming in, little spots right through there. Without Kīlauea, we still see what appears to be like a daily cycle as well. It's hard to see, see exactly with that kind of resolution. But we have 3 days right in there, and there's 3 peaks, right? Kind of correspond back and forth. 2 components. One is clearly deflating, and one's kind of more or less stable. So I'll take that as a net deflation. Right there. We talked about how tremor the last time maybe isn't quite the best thing for us to be looking at, as far as like indication of gases moving through, because our seismometer, from which the seismograph is derived, is not close enough to fissure rate to really tell us what's happening there in particular. We may be looking at gas coming out of other cracks, possibly near Pu'o'o, whatever else. So I can show you guys this seismic signal here, but this is basically what's happening around the Pu'o'o area. The USGS did report that they did reestablish all their network down in Puna, so this weird little gap in here, I'm not exactly sure, but I suspect this is when we're working in the instrument right through here.
Yeah.
So I would ignore that, you guys. That's nothing crazy happening there, except people were actually messing with the thing.
The void.
And this is what a typical earthquake looks like. That's a real earthquake. Was that 3.1? 5.5 this morning? Yeah. Okay.
I think it was 3.1.
Yeah, that's south flank aftershock. So that's 6.9. And we have some more gas tremor coming out in that area right now today. So in case any of you guys missed the last update that I did up in Volcano Art Center, I'll show you guys more or less like what I'm talking about as far as the signals in the summit. Here's a summit. Looks like they have that same signal on the summit there too. Let's get my 3 different stations here lined up for you guys. All right, so these are all 3 stations at the summit, and they're kind of basically recording the same events. So the earthquakes themselves, like these little discrete spots, basically stay the same, but all this kind of tremor varies from plot to plot, and it kind of shows you how localized. Let me put them all at the same level, yeah. So it kind of corresponds. You guys can see there, right, how a tremor can vary from one spot to the other, and that can be fairly localized to those cracks. So, we basically, in summary, don't see anything conclusive from any of those signals, whether in the summit or the rift zone.
And it kind of shows, how painstaking it is to do this science for the researchers, because you've got multiple signals and they're showing similar things, but the signal will look very different on different instruments located in different places, and you got to start comparing those things to figure out of the noise what is true and what's important in that signal. And so yeah, it just represents how different the information will look on different displays and different instruments, and we have to sort all that out and compare it all to get a better idea, accurate idea.
Yeah, sure. So let's show you guys just the actual earthquake plot here, and you guys can see what those look like on map view. Let's give ourselves a refresh here. Oops.
Hello.
And you guys can see that we get one random earthquake up on Mauna Kea, and we have our cluster around the summit right here, and we have our south flank ones right here, and as usual we have our Pahala ones down over here as well. So our deep conduit earthquakes, our summit settling earthquakes, and our south flank settling earthquakes. Everything is as it has been for many days. And now we have the man.
Aloha, aloha. Sponsored by Dasani.
What you got to say for updates? Anything?
Just getting back into the groove again. How's everybody doing? Hello, everybody. Yeah, I guess whatever you guys doing, good job.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Right.
Thanks, sir.
No word of confidence, yeah. So, yeah, we are basically. I think that's what we got for you guys. I can maybe show you guys the the plot here from the place and kind of show you guys a couple interesting things. So these are the plots from the on Harry's server from the Puna traffic cam, right? And you guys can see down here the dates in the bottom. We have pretty clearly a signal: daytime, high, low, high, low, high, low. This one here is not quite clear. This was actually an extra sunny day, so it could be that there was extra sun, extra brightness throwing off this plot. Or there could have actually been one of these, you know, we saw the lava lake coming up and the gas releases coming out. If it happened in the middle of the day, we might see a signal that looks similar to this. Although the fact that we only have a single peak makes me suspicious of that. Whereas right here, this little bump, right, that's clearly something volcanic, because otherwise it should go straight down, right? And then something up here, in the middle of the day, it should go up. And overnight, it should go all the way down, and something else happened overnight over here. That's that pulse you guys saw on the 4th.
Maybe.
Yeah. And it comes up, and now we start to see some kind of waning effects, right? We're not even seeing, don't even see the spike this day. We don't see as much today. It's kind of getting a little bit sunnier, but it was a little bit cloudier today, so it's interesting there. One clear thing to point out is you can see the baseline temperature before this happened is higher than the baseline temperature after we had this cycle, which is kind of curious as well. So this is basically the plot of the thermal temperatures, yeah, that's the little bit of information we can get from that. So Dane DuPont with Hawaiian Tracker was actually part of setting up that plot, and he is reporting to us that the peak was due to how bright the sun was. Trying to make it so I can read the rest of his comment, but it's not letting me.
Peak was due to the sunshine. Okay.
Yeah. Peak was due to how bright the sun was that day. The brightness caused by pixel analysis to be distorted towards reading hot. So that kind of goes with what I was saying. You know, a single peak makes it kind of suspicious. We had seen 2 peaks. Maybe it was something else. Yeah. So the other peaks we pointed out, those are definitely true ones. But it kind of shows like some of the things that go into data analysis, right? And how you have to be aware of all these other environmental factors that may be giving you false clues, whether it's heat on a temperature plate, or whether it's the rain at Pu'o'o on a tilt,
and that's a big goal of ours tonight at the town meeting. Hopefully our geologists are really ready to talk to us and we can get up to them and ask some questions, because we want to know some details about their tilt instruments and the information we're able to get online. There are things we're confused about, but maybe if we have a geologist handy, they'll be able to give us these kinds of insights, like, oh, well, it was this and it affected the data that way. So we have a lot of questions for the geologists at the town meeting tonight to help us analyze the data that we already are looking at. Yeah, so that's what it takes to do this kind of science.
So we'll get back to you guys with more data when we have more data. And for now, we'll sign off as soon as we're done offering you guys a little bit of more music that Ikaika's got playing for us here. So come a little closer. All right, brother. Showtime.
Shake it loose and let it fall. They're softly on my some country, like shadows on the wall. Come and lay down by my side till the early morning light. All I'm asking is your time. Help me make it through the night. I don't care what's right or wrong. I don't try to understand. Let the devil take tomorrow. Tonight I need a friend. Yesterday is dead and gone, and tomorrow's out of sight.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and stay classy.
All right. See you guys for some more music. Come by Uncle Robert's tonight. And John and I will sign off as well.
Stay
Stay classy,
classy,
Puna.
Puna.